Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Minnesota Twins discussion video, part of the Minnesota Twins recaps that we are doing this season. And well, let's just jump right into it. Minnesota loses in heartbreaking fashion today, 2-1, the second game of the season. And well, they had a chance. Bottom of the ninth inning, bases loaded, 2 outs. CJ Cron has a chance to win the game, tie the game, and he could not get it done. We'll break down exactly how that happened and more here on the Minnesota Twins discussion, so you don't want to miss it. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. There's so much that happened today. Let's start with the box score. Minnesota has struggled again today with their hitting the first time through the lineup. Cleveland was perfect gaming them until the fourth inning when Polanco hit a triple, and that was a great start for their offense. But, you know, they've gotten two good pitching performances from Cleveland that they have just been not able to do anything with until the later innings. Cleveland, one of the strongest, if not the most strongest, pitching rotation in all of baseball, but they have been doing a very good job to keep Minnesota in check. But how about Minnesota's pitching? They had a no-hitter going into the fourth inning. They did walk, and I'm talking about Odorizzi, who had a fantastic performance today. We'll get to that in a second, but you know, he walked Martin, I believe, to lead off the game. I was not watching. I was at work, so I did not get to see it, but I did see the home run by Ramirez, so he had walked Martin by that time. I think it was the start of the first batter of the game, and if it was not, it would have been in the fourth inning. So anyways, he had a no-hitter and then gave the home run up to Ramirez, but we were able to answer, rather, I should say, and it was 1-1. And then, well, we'll talk about the ninth inning a little bit later. I'll hold the suspense on that. But, you know, we were getting perfect games. We were no-hitting them. So, again, a very similar matchup to Kluber and Barrios that happened on opening day. Another fantastic pitching matchup. And, you know, I don't want to keep seeing these because that means the Twins are struggling. But, you know, at least our pitching is doing well. Let's go down to Odorizzi right now. Jake Odorizzi, 6 innings, 1 hit. 1 hit. Barrios allowed, what, 2? I think he allowed 2 hits. If I'm wrong, he allowed 1. So, then 2 walks and 11 strikeouts. This is actually the second time ever in Major League history that 2 batters to start the season on the same team have thrown 10 or more strikeouts. That's crazy. Second time ever in the Major Leagues, and it was done by Barrios and Jake Odorizzi, not even Kyle Gibson, who I thought would be pitching today. But he had a fantastic performance, and unfortunately it got away from him. He will get the no decision, though. So, let's talk about the batters. Like I said, they struggled. The first time through the lineup, the second time in a row that they have not been able to get a hit. Kepler, 0 for 4, and he had a big at-bat in the ninth inning that he just could not get anything done with. We'll talk about that in a second. Kepler, 0 for 4, like I just mentioned. Polanco, 1 for 3. He had a run. He also had a walk. That hit was a triple in the fourth inning to break up the perfect game. And then Cruz, the next batter up, was able to score him. That is, you know, that's great. A good answer right there to that home run. The RBI, a walk, even though he did not get a hit. I might have just said he got a hit. He grounded out. He got the RBI. That's what's important. Then Jake Cave was a pinch runner at the end of the game there. Did not have any other stats. Eddie Rosario got walked in the last inning, and that was big for him, but did not have a hit. Cron did not have a hit. The biggest hit of the game we would have needed. Marwin Gonzalez, no hit. Scope, no hit. Garver, no hit. Buxton had a hit, and that was the double that started the ninth inning. So let's talk about the ninth inning. Blake Parker completely fell apart, and it wasn't even like he was allowing hits, right? Let's see his stat line here. 1 hit, 1 error, earned run, 1 walk. But here we go. So, he allowed the hit, the first batter of the game. I think it was Santana, the first batter that he faced, allowed the hit. And then he allowed 2 wild pitches. This was a frustrating, I was sweating. And he allowed 2 wild pitches to allow Santana to get to third base. Kepler also dropped a fly ball in right field. The wind was incredible today. I mean, it was really blowing. I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska. I had to work a softball game today. But, I mean, there were so many balls that turned those women around in the softball field, too, today. A couple home runs that, you know, just kept on carrying. So, I mean, the wind is fantastic. Fantastic. It is tremendous. It was blowing left, right to left. Nope, left to right. I was right. Left to right, and it was, 35 miles an hour. Kepler dropped the ball. Luckily, it was in foul territory, but he dropped the ball, and then let's go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Obviously, Allen did hit a sacrifice fly to score Santana. The wild pitches allowed for that. That sacrifice fly would have been just a fly out. Santana would still be at first base probably right now, or, we would have won the game, but that allowed him to score, and unfortunately we couldn't do anything in the bottom of the ninth. So let's talk about that. This was a great effort, but, we couldn't get it done. So let's start with the first batter, and that was Buxton. Buxton hits a pop fly in the air, and I don't know how it happened. The wind, I'm telling you, was crazy. Pop fly straight in the second baseman. He dropped it. Buxton, the smartest play I've seen this year. He kept running every time. When I was playing baseball in Legion baseball in high school, you pop fly, you hit a fly out, you keep running to second base, third base, home. You don't know if they're going to drop it. Well, guess what? They dropped it. Buxton was standing on second base with nobody out, down 1. I was like, we're going to tie the game. At least we're going to tie the game, right? We can't lose this game right now. We'll send it into extras if we have to. Next up is Kepler. This is where the 0 for 4 has really hurt you. Kepler didn't have a hit on opening day. Neither did Rosario. Neither did Scope. Garver didn't have a hit today. Marwin Gonzalez didn't have a hit today. Cron didn't have a hit today. All these guys, it's the second game of the season. They won us the first game, but today would have really, made it worth it. In the first 2 games to get a couple wins. So Buxton gets a double off of the pop fly. He dropped it. Didn't touch his glove, no error, but he dropped it. And Buxton's on second base. Kepler comes up against Brad Hand. All he had to do was put the ball in play to the right side of the field. And I say that like it's easy, but obviously, he's going up against a lefty. Brad Hand, one of the best closers, pretty much Cleveland's only, solid pitcher in the bullpen anymore, but he struck him out on a curveball, and that curveball was way in the other batter's box. It's really frustrating. I was just pulling at my shirt, pulling at my hair. That one was so close that if he would have touched the ball, it would have been able to advance Buxton, but he did not. Strikes out, and there's 1 out. Polanco comes up. Pop fly, shortstop. I think it was shortstop. Grabs the ball, it doesn't matter. He pops it out. 2 outs. So here comes Nelson Cruz. They intentionally walk him up for Rosario. Rosario 0 for 3. I was really hoping he would be able to get something going here. In his previous at-bat, he was up 3-0, and he struck out. That's unfortunate. So I was like, hey, he'll get it back. He ends up walking on, 4, 5. He had a full count. I think it was the pitch after the full count. So, a 6-7 pitch at-bat. Not bad. He does take the walk. And that brings up C.J. Cron, who he missed a 92-mile-an-hour fastball down the pipe. And, the announcers were talking about how good he is at hitting left-handed batters. And he missed a 92-mile-an-hour fastball down the pipe. Again, I'm saying that like it's easy. But, for a major leaguer, that's why we brought you here. It was 92. It wasn't like a 95 plus. 92 is, what they see on average. And it was right down the pipe. And he missed it. I'm not saying it had to be a home run, but at least, hit the ball. And he pops it up to end the game, and we end up losing. That was so frustrating. I'm not saying it's his fault. Blake Parker shouldn't have allowed, the 2 wild pitches. Not going to blame Blake Parker, but, that's just so frustrating. It could have been the cold. It was cold. It's 40 degrees there. There was, nobody in the stands. But that's just, you can't do that. And it's his first game. We'll let it go. It's a long season. So, we'll just have to see how he does in the next couple of games when it starts to warm up and all that. But that's a little bit frustrating today to see that as a Twins fan. We brought him here. The announcers were saying how good he was in LA last season, and now he takes the first loss of the year. Regardless of Odorizzi's performance and the rest of the guys trying to get something going. But Bauer, Kluber, two of the best pitchers, in the AL. They're going to have a run at the Cy Young again. Barrios and Odorizzi had some great games. These were great, fantastic first games to watch, even though we were on the wrong side of it. Cleveland has one of the best pitching rotations in all of baseball. I might have mentioned that at the beginning of the video. I know I mentioned it last video. One of the best, if not the best, rotations in all of baseball. So at least the Twins are able to hang with them. They're getting lucky. They are getting bailed out by their pitching performance so far. They are not hitting the ball well, but, it's the first games of the season against a really good performing team with their pitchers. I'm not too concerned yet, but as the season goes on, we're going to have to win these close games, and that's going to help with some run support. But when our pitchers do this, you got to, you take what you can get, but you got to just be a little bit better. And that comes with time, chemistry, a little bit more practice, and all that. So a good game, though, nonetheless. It is a long season, but Minnesota does fall 2-1 today in a very good game, but just could not get the job done. I told you, I'll just add this on here really quickly, but I was recording my reaction, and you could just see it drop out of me. So, a great game. We'll be back tomorrow for the season finale. It's a rubber match, right? So, if we can come back, I hope Gibson pitches tomorrow. If not, Pineda's going to pitch. And we can use Gibson, in Kansas City for the first game there. That would hopefully be a win. But, to use him tomorrow, or either way, Cleveland's going to come back with somebody good too. So, it's going to be a good game nonetheless. But that's all I got for you today. Make sure to come back tomorrow for that recap. As well as if you like the video, subscribe. If you like MLB Minnesota, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. So that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to come back tomorrow, and we'll see you then.